we're back and we're moving into our second conversation for today, where we get all the details about what's happening at Belize's Summer Coding Camp. We have with us on set Margaret Ventura, who's the Economic Partnership Coordinator for the Directorate General for Foreign Trade. We have in the middle Kavya Krishna, who is the founder of the Society of Women Coders. And on the end, we have Melanie Eiley, who is the Administrative Officer for the Belize Coalition of Service Providers, BCSP. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, and thanks for having us.
This is interesting, but why didn't they have these summer camps when I was younger, right? But let's just find out, and I'm going to jump right to you, Kavya, to find out how this connection was made.
So Miss Margaret reached out to us. She sent an inquiry about Belize, and we looked up the stats about the country, the jobs, and if this program would really benefit the girls here, and we figured that we should do it. It was a great opportunity for our organization as well, and a great opportunity for Belize.
Can we go back for those like me who don't know what coding is?
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a broad subject. Come to the camp.
Most of the kids probably do.
I'm sure. And Ms. Margaret, you know, clearly you recognize that there was a need in Belize, and you reached out to the Society of Women Coders. Tell me where that came from.
Well, actually, if I could just do a quick intro. I work at the Directorate General for Foreign Trade, and I am the EPA coordinator, and that stands for Economic Partnership Agreement. And that is an agreement that Belize signed in 2008, along with other member states of CARIFORUM. And it really offers, it's an agreement that was signed with the EU, and it offers duty-free and quota-free access for our goods and services. So, as Belize has the opportunity to trade its services in the EU. And so I know we've been providing music because the Garifuna Collective is doing its European tour right now. But yes, there is a lot of room for building capacity in IT in Belize. And I know that much work has been done by the ICT Association and the Belize Coalition of Service Providers, but there is a lot more to be done. And when I saw this information about a summer coding camp for girls in Haiti for 25 girls, 40, I just said, hey, this looks like something that we can do in Belize. So I sent an inquiry. I said, you know, would you be interested? And they happily said yes.
Nice,
and
nice.
Yes, we're doing it.
I'm not going to let you guys get off though. I want to go back to the
What
question.
Is coding?
What is coding? So if I look at the dictionary, I know exactly what coding is.
It's a programming language, like you code. Computer science has two areas, hardware and software. So the software area is intangible. It's basically things you can't touch. And then you code, like the background. If I could literally show you on how your Google page has a source, and you could see the HTML code there. So it's literally how you program. But it's computer programming. It's different kind, not music programming. You've got a lot of programmings, but this is computer programming.
So how did you establish your organization?
It's actually two of us. It's me and Farah. We work together in New York. And we were working together, and then we talked about it. She's from Haiti, and I'm from India. And growing up in developing countries, we always had this sense of lack of opportunities, especially in technology. And we really wanted to do something for girls like us, because then we came to the United States. We were fortunate enough to get a degree in computer science and then finally get a job. And we really do see the potential in like 5 to 10 years in all these developing countries to have job flows in IT and medicine and science, but still a requirement, like a major requirement for coding.
And so you decided to start offering this service to young girls.
Yes.
In Haiti first?
Yes, that was our pilot camp. It was the age group is 14 to 18.
Yeah.
That's because that's right before they plan on going to college.
Yeah.
So we want to tell them and inform them that you also have this choice, which is unconventional.
Yeah.
I mean, you just don't have to succumb to the normal route of a career path. You could also consider this. So we want to inform them of what there is in the world and what girls are doing out there.
Yeah.
So that was the idea.
Now, when you come into a country like Belize, where I can't say I know for sure, but I would imagine not all the schools are offering any types of computer programming skills to their students. I mean, coding is part of like elementary level in US schools now. That's a norm in some schools because they've recognized how necessary a skill it is for the future. How do you start from scratch and get them up to speed where it becomes something they'd be interested in?
So we have 3 metrics how we go about it. It's one is exposure, which is reaching out in these camps, informing them, giving them an introduction. Then we have motivation, which is we offer a mentorship program, which is more like we have a network of mentors who are working in technology to Skype with these girls. All the mentors are usually in the US or we have some in Africa and Europe as well, but most of them are in the in the US. We have them interact with these girls if they sign up after the camp for our mentorship program.
Nice.
Then we have retention, which is the last metric, which basically means that the girls who choose to pursue a study path in technology, and we track that by another forms, like set of forms, we have to track all of that.
Yeah.
Can I ask this as the only male on set?
What?
Can I ask this as the only male on set?
Of course.
Your organization is Society of Women Coders.
Yes.
Is there any special lure, apart from you yourself being a woman and you wanting to multiply your successes, are there any other benefits from targeting young women? Because I would think that coding is something, nobody knows whether or not a coding is female or male.
Of course, there is no gender to coding.
Yeah.
And everybody should know coding. In my opinion, everybody should learn how to code.
Absolutely.
But why we did it for women, there is another reason to that. We feel, like I personally have always felt very strongly about the financial freedom of women. I grew up in a patriarchal town, and I see that if women are financially independent, they lead happier families. It's a wholesome life. And STEM careers, science, technology, engineering, arts, mathematics, these careers, if they pursue these careers, there's a lot of scope to make money as well. Especially if you don't have to go anywhere. This is from the comfort of your home.
Yeah.
You could build a website and sell it to people.
Yeah.
And typically women are underrepresented in this field.
Very underrepresented.
Yeah.
It's almost obscene how underrepresented women are.
Can you wipe something out my head too? Coding for, when I was doing research for today, Haiti, parts of India, where economic opportunity, Belize, that's where economic opportunities might be difficult. And where, like for example in Belize, people see a ceiling. Like, they think about coding, they think that's an American thing. And we already have our own challenges. So a young lady growing up might not be thinking that I can actually build the next remote or program it designed for remote. How do you bridge that gap? You outline 3 matrices that you do, the retention and the otherwise. But is there a different challenge for economies like Belize, where you have young ladies who probably not thinking in that way, have their own economic misconceptions as to their ceilings?
That's why we want to start early. We want to start, this is not a 1-year goal. This is a 10-year mission or a longer mission. So we're starting now. There is a lot of hard work. This is a revolution that's going to happen in all the countries.
I love that word.
Me too. No, but so this is a long process. We have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And we also just started. It's only been 2 years. So this is part of our vision to really spread this out, to spread the word to begin with. And I know about struggling economies, but 5 to 10 years when everything is going to automate, You've seen how it's happening in India, how it's happening in China. These were emerging economies, and now they're doing so much better because of this revolution that's happening. All the countries are going to follow through some way or the other. Like Belize has such strong tourism industry. Like yesterday at the hotel I was staying at, they had me do this survey, and I was so impressed. I was like, okay, if the hotel here can have me do a survey, then the girls that are going to school should at least know how these surveys are being made.
Yeah.
You know, how the forms are being made. That is a job right there.
Yeah.
If you can make forms for your, like the tourism industry here,
Yeah,
or
to
anything.
automate it. Yeah.
The survey was on electronic
It was on
platform.
the tablet.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
They gave me that survey after I had my meal, and I was like, okay, I see a job right here. Yeah.
Now, I want to just shift over to Mel for a while as a representative of BCSP. You know, you're working with,
Belize Coalition of Service
sorry,
Providers.
Belize Coalition of Service Providers. When you talk about marketing these type of services beyond Belize, is there interest at this point in time in being able to access perhaps Belizean coders, or what do you see?
Belizean coders here in Belize?
Yeah.
Well, we have the Belize Association of ICT Professionals who comes directly under the BCSP banner. And we had identified the need for more women coders or programmers because the industry is overrun by men. And so it was kind of difficult to find women mentors, as a matter of fact. But we do have a few here in Belize. We have Dr. Saunders, who was at the opening yesterday, and Melissa Zuniga, who is also an IT teacher. There are a few others who are in the industry but not specifically involved in coding. But that is why we're opening out to the girls so that we can forward that information on, and hopefully they get interested and be able to find careers in that field.
And these are skills that even if Belize isn't ready for coding skills, you can get it anywhere else, right? You're shaking your head. You find that there's already a demand in Belize?
No, well,
There is,
I'm certain that people are providing services, just that
Yeah.
we don't necessarily know who is doing providing online services. But no, I shook my head because from what we saw yesterday with the girls,
There they are.
they are interested, they are ready. We had our minister, Honorable Tracy Tega Pandan, minister with responsibility for trade, investment and commerce. She addressed the girls as well as the mentors and others, and you know, they were very receptive. They're excited in the program as it started yesterday. The questions they were asking, the questions that Kavya asked them, and the responses, they are ready, and we're extremely proud of them. It is opening up new opportunities, new knowledge, it's building capacity, and as Kavya said, the SOW coder sees this as an almost revolutionary approach. Well, we have started it in Belize, and we are catering to 90 girls for the 2-week camp. And so we expect that the mentorship will continue, and over time we will see the results.
How does the selection process, or how does the process work to participate? Are the girls selected? I know there's an age range from 14, you said, to 18, but is there another way that the girls are identified to come to the camp?
Well, I can comment on that. We decided to select Southside Schools because of the limited amount of students, and there's so many high schools in Belize City. And we're looking at it as a pilot project since it's the first time. And so there are 7 schools on the south side. And we also decided to include Stella Maris as well. So we have 2 students on Stella Maris.
Love it.
So the criteria was basically students between that age 14 to 18 who have a desire to learn more about computers, who are from a disadvantaged family. Like, we're trying to give them opportunities. The ones that are already exposed to it, well, they have an advantage already. So those were like the main criteria. And I also want to go back to the association, like where we identified a need, because we had done a study, Chamber did a study and identified the gap that exists between male, female, and also the association whenever they get foreign jobs, because they work. We have some association.
That's the IT association.
Yes.
Yeah.
That they get jobs from within CARICOM, they get from within the EU.
So there is a market. Yeah.
Yes, there is a market, and as well as the US. And sometimes they cannot fully get a group together that will be able to carry out the services that are required. So they have to outsource it abroad. And so that's one of the areas that we're looking at to fill, and we're trying to do that with women, give the women an opportunity.
And as we talk about that, my best friend actually does coding, and I've seen him fix coding issues at a specific workplace from home. And this is a big organization. So I guess the opportunity lies that you can be fixing and coding from in Belize to India.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
So there could be call centers for coders.
Of course, 100%. Yes, that's. A lot of people want to outsource.
Yeah.
If things are cheaper in a different country, they would do it.
Yeah.
Like if I wanted to make a logo for my organization, I would not look in the US because that would cost me more money. I would try to find it in China or India because that would be cheaper. And this is simple economic sense for any organization. That's the path they would take.
Yeah.
So if they can do it, why can't I?
So how difficult is it to pass on the skill sets to the girls?
Okay, it really depends on the interest level and the curiosity of the girls to begin with.
Okay.
Then convincing them that why is this important? Why is it even here? And then our approach is through case studies. There are a lot of, every day we have an inspiration and case study session where we talk to them about other girls around the world who've done these things at their age. There are a lot of like lovely, and from other camps, like we had camps in Afghanistan and Kenya as well. And we talked to these girls about the projects that those girls built to reflect their culture, their emotions, and the way they're feeling, and the passion that they have through their website or web page. So it's through inspiring them to begin with, and then leaving it to them to see how they respond to it, and then going after them again. It's like a back and forth.
And so yesterday's engagement, how do you start to pique their interest in coding?
I saw some very talented girls. I was very impressed with the project ideas they came up with. And so I'm very excited. I was telling her yesterday that so we set up like a project idea. Every girl is gonna make a project. It's gonna be a small project to begin with, but they're making a project in this 5-day camp. At the end of the camp, they're all gonna present their ideas to their peers, which is gonna, not just the idea, the web page that they built with HTML, CSS. So, so they had their ideas set yesterday. We introduced them to the camp yesterday. So I'm very excited to see how we lead them to build these pages, and I can already envision how beautiful these projects are going to be.
Tease us. Give us a couple teasers as to.
I don't think I should.
Give them two. Give them two.
Say something about the application process. It was online. The invitation was sent to the schools, as Melanie said, but there was a question particularly about a project area.
What affects them?
What problem they want to solve in their community or society.
And, you know, well, a number of them put crime and violence and poverty and other things. But I personally felt very impressed yesterday evening in our wrap-up when I spoke with Kavya, and she said, you know, or was it Pranjal? He said, when I first thought of my first project, it was about, it was building jets, about making money. And he said, what I saw with these girls, they are thinking about
giving back,
problem areas that affect their community and what they can do to help. And that really touched me because, you know, they're not even thinking about how I can start a business as of yesterday. I'm sure by Friday they will. But what affects their community was dearest to their heart, and that is what they put down in their application.
That's lovely. You know, one of the clear things we've seen as a pattern with what has been taking place in innovation challenges and hackathons is that there is no shortage of innovation in this country in our young minds. What we need are the tools as to how to be able to make them a reality. Kavya, tell me of perhaps your favorite story when you travel and you tell people about your Coder Society, about what you have seen in your own success, where you've seen girls take this skill and really do something impactful. What do you share with people?
I would make out this one project that this girl from Afghanistan was building. Actually, this is a little scary to the story because the school we were having the camp at, this was a virtual camp. We conducted it from New York. The school, I think a mile away from the school, they had some bombings. And I thought we should like cut out this camp now, like we shouldn't be conducting this anymore because Afghanistan is an affected war zone area. So I reached out to the principal saying, should we postpone this or delay this because it's coming Saturday, Sunday. And she's like, the girls really want to do this now. They need it more than anything, just for the establishment of normalcy. And it just like, it hit home, right? Like I was like, oh my God, this camp is not just helping them grow a skill, which is so most lucrative skill of the eternity or sanctuary, whatever, but it's also helping them establish normalcy in their lives. It's giving them that impact, and the girls, the kind of projects they built, there was this one girl, she just wanted to build a MySpace, which is basically like a safe haven for all the girls to come and talk about their feelings. It's such a small little idea, but it's so beautiful.
It's impactful.
And such projects come when girls when they get to thinking, they can do wonders. So
you were sharing with us the view of another coder in terms of what he felt about the Belizean girls. I wanted to ask you as well, though, what for you is the most, because each country has their own swag or their own personality that they're going to bring to coding.
Of course.
Yes, that's a good question.
What do you think Belize as a society, what are we going to bring to it that you're going to say is going to change the game, or we have something different from Pakistan or from Afghanistan or Haiti? What are our Belizean girls going to bring to coding that's going to rock the world?
I think it's a little too early for me to make a comment on that because I'm only I'm kidding. But I see a genuine interest in music. I saw them singing in the class in their spare time. I haven't seen that in other camps. And then also I saw them asking me questions about different, like if they could make a project related to music. There were a lot of projects people wanted to make for to help indigenous people with their hair growth problems, which I haven't heard before. So I was very interested. I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then some girls this girl, she wanted to make, there's some seaweed in the, that's causing water pollution.
Yeah, the sargassum.
Yeah, and she wants to take it out to solve the pollution problem, but then also make something out of it, like a perfume or some sort of that product that she could also sell. So I thought that was brilliant. So I think I should be able to answer this better after.
So when they make their pitches to their peers at the end of the week, what happens from there? Is there a best idea selected?
Yeah.
Yes.
We have, go ahead.
Yes. Well, I think
You should go ahead.
We have 3 best learners. They're not just the best pitchers, it's also the best learners.
Okay.
From where they started to where they got, their dedication during the camp, the effort they put in their project and their code. So the best 3 learners will be given prizes. The best learner will be given a laptop each camp. The second best learner will be given a tablet. And I think the third best learner is from
a gift
We'll
package.
give a gift package from Full Tech Systems.
Those are pretty good prizes.
Yeah. Sustainability. As much as we wanted to stay and make sure that 90% of our girls can code, you're going to leave after this camp.
Yes.
What do we have in place practically to make sure that you don't have to come back 3 years and you have to start all over again? What in terms of sustainability will allow us that's
Well,
in place
Kavya-
locally?
Kavya spoke of the
Mentorship.
infrastructure that's already in place for mentorship through SOW quotas. As a result of this camp, and we have also identified local mentors. Melanie spoke about 2 who addressed the girls yesterday, and we will have our own mini network in Belize to provide a space for them to be able to communicate, to do follow-up, to ask questions, to continue building on the curiosity. And we certainly have plans to do another camp next year.
Yep.
With the number of girls we are doing in Belize City and Belmopan, we look forward to exciting times ahead with these girls. We look forward to some of them being young entrepreneurs. We look forward to that which they will take away from the camp to spread it among other high school students in their schools. And we are looking forward to a new approach and a new thinking when it comes to
and that's where I
ICT.
specifically wanted to go in terms of, do we have practical things in place? The minister was there assisting, and have we set aside monies so that we say, okay, well, we have monies for camps, we have monies for programs, we have monies to bring in somebody else. Do we have a strategy in place to make sure that in the schools we have 5 more coding programs? Do we have things in place like a space? What practically, I'm asking, on the ground, do we have to make sure that it's not a camp this year and then a gap and a silence and then a camp next year?
Okay, I'll just make a comment and then pass over to Melanie.
Sure.
So, because we have the schools on board,
Yeah.
the principals on board, and especially in the two hosts for the camp. The host for the Belize camp is Wendell's. And so the principal is fully on board. He welcomed the group yesterday, and he definitely is excited about continuing some kind of program in their school. And I'm sure the same with Belmopan Comprehensive School.
Yeah.
The vice principal came all the way to Belize City to attend the opening of the camp. So we see interest. We will also use the opportunity to do follow-up with the IT labs in those schools. And DGFT will work with the Belize Coalition of Service Providers, because we work very closely to ensure that we have the infrastructure in place.
Yeah.
Melanie.
Definitely. And also the association itself, the Belize Association of ICT Professionals, they're already assisting some schools, some of the schools in Northside. But we have discussed this before, and they know the need that exists, so I am sure that we can twist their arm to go into the other schools. But it also requires a whole curriculum shift, and that has to come from through the Ministry of Education. So we also work closely with the Ministry of Education in all of these aspects. So,
But what I love about what we're hearing is that we're getting a jump start. And these girls, the good thing about coding is once you have a reliable connection and a computer, even at a computer lab, that's it. You have it all in your mind. And so we really hope that these girls will continue to pursue maybe a training of trainers workshop eventually, and that the coding culture can grow in Belize. And you're starting with a bunch of dynamic young girls in Belize City, and you're moving to Belmopan afterwards.
yes.
Belmopan is already booked out. Nobody can get in last minute.
I think there are just a few spaces left, but it's an online registration.
Yes.
So by the end of this program, we don't even know what the numbers will be. But allow me also to go back to the question about sustainability.
Yes.
And I know you may say, oh, this is just paper, but we launched a national trade policy in February of 2019. This is really a commitment by the government with respect to developing trade for sustainable development. And in the policy, it speaks to gender inclusiveness, it speaks to youth, and all these wonderful things. And so we already have a commitment, and out of that commitment, must come, the funding, sourcing funding to be able to implement what we've committed to. So
True.
I don't think there should be any problem or any concern about how we move ahead. The impetus is there. We just have to build on it.
Well, we want to wish you the best of luck in your camp this week and your camp in Belmopan as well. Kavya, thank you for partnering with us here in Belize and bringing your skill set to our girls as well. And we wish you success.
Thank you.
Can I just wish some of our sponsors?
Yes.
Thank you. Our main sponsor for the camp is the Public Utilities Commission. So we wish to thank them very much for seeing that, you know, ICT is one of the main areas that needs developing, and especially with the girls. Santiago Castillo Limited for providing milk and Ovaltine for the girls' breakfast. Strengthening them. We have Full Tech Systems Limited for the packages. Society of Women Coders for the computers and the, what's the other one? Tablets, yes. And we have other partners who also contributed.
Well, thank you for coming in and telling us all about it. And next time, we'll try to learn a bit about coding ourselves. We'll see how hard it is. But for now, we got to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll be talking about the ketogenic diet. So stay tuned.